Beyond Neptune, past the orbit of the last traditional planet, lies a realm where sunlight fades and icy bodies drift in near-perpetual twilight. It is a place of mystery, the Kuiper Belt, a frozen frontier filled with ancient worlds, remnants of the early solar system. And among these distant objects, two stand out. Their names are Eris and Makemake, two of the largest known dwarf planets orbiting the Sun, silent, remote, invisible to the naked eye. Yet they have played an outsized role in shaping how we define planets themselves. They are not just icy spheres. They are chapters in a story of discovery, controversy, and cosmic identity. This is the tale of Eris and Makemake, two worlds that forced us to rethink what it means to be a planet. Our solar system doesn't end with Neptune. Beyond the gas giants lies the Kuiper Belt, a vast, ring-like zone of icy objects stretching from about 30 to over 50 astronomical units from the Sun. It's a region filled with frozen leftovers from the formation of the solar system: comets, dwarf planets, and minor worlds. For much of the 20th century, Pluto was thought to be the only resident of this far-off zone. But as telescopes improved and digital sky surveys became more powerful, astronomers began to uncover many more. And in the early 2000s, two discoveries would change everything. One was Makemake, discovered just after Easter in 2005 and named after the Rapa Nui god of creation. The other was Eris, a distant, icy world found in 2003, which would eventually spark one of astronomy's greatest debates. Eris was discovered by a team led by astronomer Mike Brown at Caltech. At first glance, Eris looked like a revelation. It was estimated to be roughly the same size as Pluto, possibly even larger. And it was farther from the Sun, orbiting in a tilted, elongated path deep in the scattered disk region. For a brief moment, Eris was hailed as the 10th planet. The headlines flew: "New planet found beyond Pluto." But this posed a problem. If Eris was a planet and Pluto was a planet, what about all the other similar objects being found in the Kuiper Belt? Should they be planets too? Suddenly, astronomers weren't just exploring new worlds. They were being forced to confront an old question: what is a planet, really? The discovery of Eris didn't just expand our solar system. It redefined it. In 2006, the International Astronomical Union held a meeting to settle the debate. Out of it came a new definition and a new category: dwarf planet. To be a planet, an object must orbit the Sun, be spherical in shape due to its own gravity, have cleared its orbital neighborhood of other debris. Eris, like Pluto, met the first two criteria, but not the third. It shared its orbit with other icy bodies and hadn't cleared its path. The result? Pluto was demoted, and Eris was never promoted. Instead, both were officially designated dwarf planets, along with Ceres in the asteroid belt and a few others still being debated. The decision was controversial. To this day, some scientists and the public still argue that Pluto, and by extension, Eris, should be considered full planets. But regardless of category, Eris had made its mark. It had forced the astronomical community to reconsider what makes a world a world. Eris is one of the most distant known objects in the solar system. It orbits the Sun once every 557 Earth years, on a highly elliptical path that takes it as far as 97 astronomical units from the Sun, over 3 times farther than Pluto. It is about 2,326 kilometers in diameter, nearly identical to Pluto, but 28% more massive, thanks to its dense composition. Its surface is coated in methane ice, giving it a bright, reflective sheen. It reflects about 96% of the sunlight that reaches it, making it one of the most reflective bodies in the solar system, nearly as bright as freshly fallen snow. Eris also has a small moon, named Dysnomia, after the daughter of the goddess Eris in Greek mythology, a fitting name, as it means lawlessness. Dysnomia's orbit helps scientists estimate Eris's mass and confirms its spherical shape. Though no spacecraft has yet visited Eris, its gravitational influence and physical properties tell us it is a true planetary body, sculpted by the same forces that shape planets, only left behind in the solar system's deep freeze. Discovered just months after Eris, Makemake is another icy world in the Kuiper Belt, smaller than Eris, but still large enough to be rounded by gravity. Makemake is about 1,430 kilometers in diameter, making it the third largest known dwarf planet after Pluto and Eris. It's also one of the brightest Kuiper Belt objects in the night sky, though still far too faint to see without a telescope. Makemake's surface appears rich in frozen methane and ethane, and possibly nitrogen ice, similar to Pluto's. However, it lacks a thick atmosphere. In fact, for years, Makemake was thought to be moonless, making it harder to determine its mass. That changed in 2016 when astronomers discovered a tiny moon orbiting Makemake. Named 2 Malawian Quaches, it is dark and difficult to detect, but its presence was crucial, not just for studying Makemake's gravitational field, but for confirming it shares common traits with Pluto and Eris. Makemake may not have made headlines like Eris or Pluto, but it's a crucial piece of the puzzle, a reminder that the outer solar system is more complex and more populated than we once thought. Some might ask, why should we care about tiny, frozen worlds so far from Earth? The answer is simple. They are time capsules. Eris and Makemake have been mostly untouched for billions of years. Unlike Earth, they haven't undergone volcanic resurfacing, tectonic shifts, or atmospheric erosion. Their icy surfaces hold clues to the early solar system, preserved in deep freeze. Their compositions tell us what kinds of materials existed when the planets were forming. Their orbits reveal the gravitational battles of the solar system's youth. Their diversity in size, color, and behavior reminds us that planetary formation is messy, dynamic, and ongoing. And as astronomers discover even more distant objects, like Sedna, Gong, and others beyond the Kuiper Belt, Eris and Makemake serve as ambassadors for a whole class of uncharted worlds. They are not footnotes in the solar system. They are chapters we've only just begun to read. So far, no spacecraft has visited Eris or Makemake. They are too distant, too faint, and too far-flung for current missions. But the future holds promise. With renewed interest in the outer solar system, scientists are designing missions to the Kuiper Belt, robotic explorers that could fly by or even orbit these icy worlds. If such missions succeed, we may one day see Eris and Makemake up close, their canyons, craters, and chemical secrets revealed in detail. We might detect atmospheres, volatile outgassing, or evidence of past activity. And in doing so, we would not just be exploring dwarf planets. We'd be expanding our definition of what a planet can be. Eris and Makemake are more than icy orbs drifting in the dark. They are keys to understanding how our solar system formed, evolved, and perhaps how other planetary systems evolve elsewhere. They challenged our definitions. They expanded our maps. They humbled our assumptions. And they remind us that even at the edges of sunlight, worlds can surprise us. Because in the end, it's not the labels that matter. It's the stories these worlds tell. Stories of formation, isolation, and silent endurance. Eris and Makemake are still out there, orbiting in shadow, waiting. And one day, we'll go to them, not just to see their surfaces, but to listen to what they've been keeping secret for 4.5 billion years.